too serious. I love my travel mugs, but oh no, I don't think I want to travel on New World Order Airlines. That's right, the NWO, New World Order Airlines. The Illuminati may be controlling soon all airlines with a new RFID microchip implant that would become your boarding pass. In other words, it's biometric identification going to another level. In other words, you would have to have an implant, an RFID microchip. You cannot fly anywhere in the world. This would stop people, this is their reason. They would say this would stop people from having fake passports, slipping into different countries. It'd be a great way to control who gets to fly. A microchip would be a way to prevent unwanted passengers. Well, it depends who is the unwanted passengers. I mean, one thing we could do in America is change our immigration laws to make sure that radical Islamic Muslim militants don't get a free pass into America. Let me tell you what they're saying here. Flying may have your won't have to have your travel documents because the microchip will be your identification. And American flyers could potentially even have to carry a passport on domestic flights if their state does not stick to this government ID timeline. They're really talking about a microchip for the only way that you can fly. It's the kind of an ID hassle. Flyers could leave all their ID at home, wouldn't have to worry about it. And, well, of course, this is the mark of the beast. I mean, if you take the mark, that you won't need to have a driver's license or a social security number or anything. It's your biometrics. You become part of your RFID. Once that microchip is in you, then you become a part of the system.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. Approximately half of new illegal immigrants came on temporary visas and then never, ever left. Why should they? Nobody's telling them to leave. Stay as long as you want. We'll take care of you. Beyond violating our laws, visa overstays pose, and they really are a big problem, pose a substantial threat to national security. The 9/11 Commission said that this tracking system should be a high priority and would have assisted law enforcement and intelligence officials in August and September 2001 in conducting a search for two of the 9/11 hijackers that were in the United States on expired visas. And you know what that would have meant. What that could have meant. Wouldn't that have been wonderful, right? What that could have meant. Last year alone, nearly 500,000 individuals overstayed their temporary visas. Removing visa overstays will be a top priority of my administration. If people around the world believe they can just come on a temporary visa and never, ever leave, the Obama-Clinton policy, that's what it is, then we have a completely open border and we no longer have a country. To send a message that visa expiration dates will be strongly enforced. I'm with you, the American people.
Listen in, please. Airline executives fresh out of their meeting.
We had a great meeting with the president. He is fully committed to knock down doors to help us get new airports, which we badly need. to basically take care of regulatory reform in a big way, and especially he's committed to creating jobs, and he fully understands that aviation is an industry that if we take off the regulatory burden and put the will behind it, that we can create fabulous new airports and tens of thousands of jobs in very short order. Great meeting. Could you tell me, identify yourself? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Ginger Evans. I'm the Commissioner of Aviation for the City of Chicago.
Hello, I'm Bill Vanasek. I'm the Director of Aviation for the Buffalo Niagara International Airport and the current Chairman of ACINA. The meeting with the President was wonderful. He really talked about how airlines and airports can work together to overcome significant funding issues in the industry and how we can create airports that are the rivals in the world. We certainly plan to have more conversations with both the President and our airline partners on making airports in the United States the best they can be. We want to make Americans' airports great again.
Did you talk about raising the PFC charge?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gary Kelly from Southwest Airlines, and we've had a delightful meeting with the President and his staff. I'm also delighted to report that we're very well aligned on at least some very key topics. Income tax reform, regulatory reform, and especially growing our industry. And we need to invest in the infrastructure. We're especially keen on modernizing the air traffic control system. So I was delighted to see how well aligned we are, and again, it was just a very, very good meeting. So thank you all very much.
About the immigration ban and the effect on your airlines and airports?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill Flynn. I'm CEO of Atlas Air Worldwide. Our focus is mostly freight and express traffic, and so we share the same views that you've heard from my colleagues here from the airports, as well as Gary Kelly from Southwest. Really, the meeting focused on what kind of initiatives and actions can we take that will improve the overall experience for our passengers, for our customers, make the contributions we want to make to the communities that we serve, and then how do we grow our business such that there's more opportunities for our employees, as well as the opportunity to create new jobs and high-quality jobs in the aviation industry overall. We talked about the significant contribution that our industry makes to our economy, and it was a good free flow of ideas. It frankly was unique, I think. We haven't had a meeting like this as an industry with the President, and I come away from it excited and very optimistic about what we can achieve. Thank you.
Did you talk about the ban at all?
Hi, Andreas here. I am always on the lookout for new innovation together with our customers. A few weeks ago I had an NFC chip injected into my hand just beneath the skin. While I'm certainly not the first person to have an NFC implant, in this video I am probably the first person to pass through an airport, through security, through lounge registration, through the gate to the aircraft, to board a flight with only the NFC chip. So I had no boarding pass physical with me during this trip. I am also sharing a conversation I had with Massimo Pascotto, who works with innovation at Scandinavian Airlines, about this experiment.
My name is Massimo Pascotto, working here at SAS within innovation in digital, and I'm here today with
Andreas Sjöström, and I'm head of digital at Society.
Awesome. So where are we now, Andreas? And why are we here on Sunday morning? Yeah, exactly.
Sunday morning, up early, and I'm off to Paris. We are meeting at the nice SAS lounge here at Terminal 5, and today we're making a pretty interesting experience on how to pass through the airport as quickly as possible.
Fantastic. And you know, and speaking of which, I remember, you know, we started introducing boarding pass through the usage of kiosk years ago, which was innovative. You didn't need to go to a desk and get a boarding pass, and then we started discussing about on-printed boarding pass. So you have a printer home and you can print the boarding pass. A few years ago we were actually the pioneers in using NFC technology, near fields communication.
You mean the sticker that you put on the back of your phone, and you can use that as a boarding pass? Yeah.
And it was pretty awesome experience, because you didn't have to to do pretty much anything. You just beam the phone on top of the reader, and you were just going through security. But today we went an extra step, an extra mile, right?
Yeah, exactly. So a few weeks ago I had an NFC implant. So I actually had injected an implant, a small chip in my hand, and we put my Eurobonus number into the chip, and today when I passed through security and the lounge registration, I just waved my hand over the reader and I could pass through. So no more boarding pass, no more picking up the phone, just passing through.
You don't need to care about batteries, right, or whatever.
Exactly.
So how deep is the implant? I mean,
it's just beneath the skin, so you can actually feel it if you touch it. Yeah.
Okay. Here is the point: you don't need anything to be identified, to be recognized, to go through a touch point, whether it's a security or lounge or a gate, right? So I think that's the breakthrough, really, that you don't need to care about to carry a boarding pass, or to carrying a device, or to have batteries or whatever.
Exactly. And from an implant perspective, I mean, we are really used to, I think, already accepting the idea of an implant with a pacemaker, of course, and then with the sensors now, digital electronic sensors becoming smaller and smaller, and it becomes more, common that you track your fitness, your health, how you move around with sensors in the app phone or whatever. I think in the future, I think it's going to be more common to actually put electronics and digital things
as part of your body,
as part of your body. And in innovation, you are in innovation in SAS, and I'm innovation in Society. I think a key part in innovation is actually to be part of the experimentation. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
But thank you, Andreas. It was really interesting, and now we will be boarding. You will be actually the very first passenger probably ever boarding a plane with an implant, right?
Yes. Today. So it's going to be a flight to Paris, and we're boarding no paper printed boarding pass. Fantastic. And no app or stickers inside of the hand.
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Good luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay, great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Starting in early 2006, the U.S. Department of State will begin issuing passports with 64-kilobyte RFID radio frequency identification chips that will contain the name, nationality, gender, date of birth, and place of birth of the passport holder, as well as a digitized photograph of that person. The U.S., Mexico, and Canada organized some 20 different shadow government bureaucratic working groups composed of agency heads and undersecretaries in the three nations. The groups span a wide range of policy areas, from e-commerce to aviation policy, to borders and immigration, trilateral travel, transportation, to aviation policy, to borders and immigration, trilateral travel, borders and immigration, trilateral travel, transportation, energy, environment, food and agriculture, health, and financial services. Passports with 64-kilobyte RFID radio frequency identification chips.
What is new is that from now on this information is stored in a tamper-proof chip with the addition of digitized fingerprints. The biometric passport is secure thanks to the chip. The biometric passport is proof of our identity in the digital world. The most highly protected part is access to the data. Thanks in particular to the chip, we have a more secure document and identity protection. The biometric passport means a faster identity check. The new generation of secure documents.
Just and Qatar Airways is among the first to officially put the new U.S. immigration and travel rules into effect. An advisory put up on the airline's website just a short while back talks about the ban with regards to Muslim countries including Sudan, Syria, Libya, Iraq, Iran, and Yemen. 7 countries, a temporary ban, a change of entry requirements for those passengers headed to the United States. Those travelers can only head there if they have a green card. The travel ban also excludes professionals, students, and tourists from outbound travel from these 7 countries. Now, Qatar Airlines might be the first to put out the details of what the new U.S. travels are, but its implications are just slowly becoming clear. 5 passengers from Iraq and 1 more from Yemen were stopped on Saturday from boarding an Egypt Air flight from Cairo to New York. This after President Trump stopped the entry from these 7 Muslim-majority countries. Again, Sudan, Syria, Libya, Somalia, Iran, Iraq, and Yemen. The ban, again, temporary for the next 90 days. Trump says this would give up enough time for his administration to develop stricter screening procedures for refugees, immigrants, and visitors. Trump says this would give up enough time for his administration to develop stricter screening procedures for refugees, immigrants, and visitors. Airport sources say passengers arriving in transit to Cairo were also stopped, and if they met those criteria, they then were redirected to flights headed for their home countries despite holding valid visas. The bans, though temporary, have started immediately. Trump put a 4-month hold on Friday on allowing refugees into the U.S. as well. Trump says the move would help to protect Americans from terror attacks. Now, besides Cairo, it's not clear which other airports have implemented the ban and what impacts this ban could have on students and those who are on work or tourist visas, again, from these 7 Muslim-majority countries. Let's now go straight to our correspondent, Anshul Vora, who is standing by, as well as Glenn Carl, who is in Boston, with regards to this developing story coming in to the newsroom. We'll start with Glenn, who is standing by in Boston. Glenn, certainly big news impacting millions of travelers coming in and going out of the United States. What's the latest that we know in this hour and the implications to come?
Well, we actually don't know a lot of the details because I think they don't exist. There's already disharmony between the implementation by officials and what the stated official policy is supposed to be, meaning that there appear to be rather gross and crude blockings of people who meet the criteria that should allow them to continue to come in normally. Beyond that, we don't really know. I have commented earlier on your programs that a 90-day, quote, temporary, unquote, order makes me very wary because although, yes, that allows them to elaborate, the government to elaborate more formal rules, I think we should not be led astray by the moderate-sounding term temporary and focus instead on the historically changed nature of what it is to define who can come to the country, frankly, what an American is.
Hi there, my name is Dan and I'm a U.S. Customs and Border Protection Officer. Soon you'll be landing, so let me be the first to say, welcome to the United States. And to those of you who live here, welcome home. The primary mission of CBP is to keep you safe and to secure our country's borders from threats. One way we do that is by using innovative new technology to help simplify processing international travelers through CBP.
How are you today?
Oh, very good.
Depending on your citizenship, there are a few types of self-service kiosks you may be able to use when you arrive at the airport, and even a mobile app that I'd like to walk you through. When you reach the International Arrivals Terminal, you will see signs for 2 types of self-service kiosks. The first is automated passport control and the other global entry. At first glance, the kiosks might look similar, but they have some important differences. First, let's talk about automated passport control, or APC. APC kiosks do not require any pre-registration or background screening, and there is no fee to use the kiosks. All you have to do is scan your passport and follow the prompts on the touchscreen. United States citizens, Canadian citizens, and international visitors traveling on a B1 or B2 visa are eligible to use the APC kiosks. Next, let's talk about the global entry kiosk and some of the benefits, including TSA PreCheck. Like APC users, Global Entry members also use self-service kiosks, but they must undergo a background screening and interview. There are two primary benefits of membership. First, unlike APC kiosk users, GE members typically do not have to present themselves for inspection to a CBP officer. And secondly, Global Entry members enjoy TSA PreCheck benefits.
That's right, Dan. TSA PreCheck includes expedited security at checkpoints nationwide, including domestic flights. These are some serious perks that will save you time, whether you're a frequent international or domestic traveler.
To apply for Global Entry, visit globalentry.gov. You'll need to set up an online account and go through an interview process at an enrollment center. At CBP and TSA, we're improving to keep you moving. On behalf of the dedicated officers nationwide, we hope you have a pleasant trip and enjoy your time in the United States.
Managing international border crossing is a complex and challenging task. Border Control Management System can be deployed to all ports of entry to facilitate a fast and secure border control operation to protect borders. Our border control counters are equipped with state-of-the-art hardware and software solution to verify the authenticity of travel documents. The passengers' details are also checked against the warning index to ensure that they are not currently wanted by any official agencies. The system can also capture facial photo, verify biometric fingerprints, and record the movement log of every traveler coming in and out. By comparing the biometric information stored in the e-passport chip against the information printed on the passport data page, our solution can easily detect travelers attempting to use a fraudulent passport. During peak hours, long queues can build up at the border checkpoints. Mobile border control stations can be quickly wheeled into position to speed up the border clearance process. Mobile border control tablets can also be used to further increase the border clearance capacity without compromising on national security.
Isaiah chapter 24, verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. The city of confusion is America, and is being broken down. Economic collapse is inevitable. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There are going to be military blockades. You won't be able to leave or enter a city unless you have that chip. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because you won't be able to function and maneuver in this society unless you have the mark of the beast.
Here are 10 failed